all right, you've opened that space. So let me play you this, Babati. We are still on the Tinubu's cabinet, but twice now you've spoken about the Western influence on the African space. So let me play you this and just get your reaction to it. Maybe a couple of people who may or may not want to react to it, and then we go back to the Tinubu cabinet. But watch this. This was in Ghana.
Madam Vice President, you have made clear that the message of this trip is centered on a collaborative future. At the same time, the Biden administration committed to calling out any foreign government that advanced anti-gay legislation or violates human rights. All three of the countries that you are visiting on this trip have advanced or proposed anti-gay legislation. Ghana has proposed a bill that would imprison those that engage in same-sex intercourse. Gay sex remains a crime in Tanzania, and same-sex relationships are outlawed in Zambia. What have you said to the president and plan to say to other leaders on this trip about this crackdown on human rights?
I'll start. I have raised this issue, and let me be clear about where we stand. First of all, for the American press who are here, you know that a great deal of work in my career has been to address human rights issues, equality issues across the board, including as it relates to the LGBT community. And I feel very strongly about the importance of supporting the freedom and supporting and fighting for equality among all people, and that all people be treated equally. I will also say that this is an issue that we consider, and I consider, to be a human rights issue, and that will not change. The President and I had a conversation on this very topic, but the conversation was not about China as much as it is about the enduring and important direct relationship that the United States has with Ghana and with African nations. I will tell you that we are very clear, and I will speak for myself and on behalf of the Biden-Harris administration, that the relationship between the United States and this continent and African leaders is an important one. There's a historical basis for the relationship, not to mention as we look forward, as all governments should, and recognize the unachieved, as of yet, opportunities that exist going forward. The median age on the continent of Africa is 19. Think about what that means in terms of potential. Think about the fact that by 2050, 1 in 4 people occupying a place on Mother Earth will be on this continent, and what that means. The trip that I have taken to come here, being here, is about recognizing the incredible opportunity with a sense of optimism about what we do.
All right, Babati. So just briefly on that, there seems to be this somewhat aggressive pushing of this LGBTQ agenda on the African continent. Also, of course, being a conservative traditional space. Is that the bracket area of what you were talking about this Western thing being pushed upon us?
Right. Yes. Thank you, one man. And if you pay attention to what she was saying, even though she was using what you would refer to as diplomatic language, it was almost like she was bullying him. If you pay, it was almost like a bullying, like something like, listen, this is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to go. This is what we like. I wasn't too comfortable about the way she was very condescending, to be honest with you. But Ghana has to be very careful. They have to be very careful because you have all this year of return. Now they are issuing, they are giving all these Americans coming back home, quote unquote, they're giving them visas, they're giving them citizenship, and they're giving them passports. That has consequences because when you have, the alphabet community, when it start coming to your country, then they're gonna start pressurizing your country. You see what's happening already. They have all these bills in the legislation that they want to pass to ban that. Why do you think Biden? Why do you think Kamala Harris showed up? Because you have a lot of Americans moving to Ghana now. The money is moving there now, and if you want more money from America to flow over your country, you have to play ball. So I don't know how long Ghana can hold on, because the same guy, that's the same Kufuor guy, the same president. If you hear him 3-4 years ago, it was very stern. It was
Militants.
very against this LGBTQ thing. But now it's kind of backpedaling a little bit, and I feel that he might compromise. If you look at other African countries, I think in Uganda they passed a law a few weeks ago against this same movement. So I just don't want us to lose our African values. And it's interesting that Kamala will come to Africa talking about democracy. Democracy means the will of the people. Sovereignty, right? They have the right to vote for what they want. It is their country. It is their right. And as of now, this year, one man, being LGBTQ is not a human right. I want people to go look at that. They failed to pass that vote because they couldn't get the numbers. As of now, under the UN Charter, it's not a human right to be that. They failed to pass that because they couldn't get the vote. So you cannot. So that's the issue that they're having. They want to get more countries to buy into it, to vote for it, so that they can make it. Because once they make it a human right, then they can come against you with sanctions and all this financial penalty stuff. So that's what they're planning. So I worry for Africa that Africa has to hold on strong, because this is some kind of slavery. It's not like cultural imposition all over again. Do what we want. Or we
What do you think it's all about? Because it seems so random. This and they've been doing it since the days of Goodluck Jonathan. By the way, remember this was one of the things that Obama of all people held against Goodluck Jonathan when he signed that law that banned same-gender coupling in Nigeria. But then they are going after the Kenyans aggressively. All the Kenyan government they're all being what is it all about? Especially this topic that they seem to want to. Why do they want to turn us all gay in Africa?
Woman, you heard what she said. That the mean average age will be 19 years old. So this guy, they've studied the landscape. They know exactly what they're doing. Now you see, money is pouring into Nigeria in terms of music, in terms of movies. You're going to have more opportunities coming into Africa, but that comes with a price. That comes at the cost. I was reading. So I was watching this interview on WOI TV, and they were interviewing this lady.
Is that not the Indian platform?
Yeah, she was. They were interviewing this lady in Uganda, and she said she runs this NGO, right? She runs this NGO, and they were willing to give that NGO over $400,000, and they were discussing. And the last day when that offer was about to close, one man, they said, "Oh, by the way, we forgot to tell you one thing. We are looking for a child that has come from like a homeless child with no parents, just for we need them for advertisement." Like, what do you mean? And it turns out they were actually looking for they were looking for binary, like a gender fluid young black lady to use. I said, "What do you mean by that?" They're like, "Oh, for you to get the money, we need you to find us a gender fluid young lady that we can use for campaign." And she's like, "No, I'm not gonna, because you want to give me money." So they are pouring in funds into these NGOs in Africa. So you start hearing all this, equality rights, free for all, free spirits. Even churches are buying into it, but they are funding those organizations with real cash. Man, there's money in those. If you are promoting those things on the continent, there's money in it. So that's what there's this. I wouldn't say they want to turn into, but I've heard people say, "Oh, it's some kind of war population control." I think there's more to that. It's almost Luciferian in nature. Don't let me go into that spirituality right now on your platform. That's the way, because so they want to break the African spirit itself. They want to change the family dynamics. That they want to change that, where you have subsistence men. I've heard so much stories about in Lagos. On your after hour show, people are discussing what's going on in Lagos that is even open now. That in Lagos and Abuja, it's all open now. It's not even hidden anymore. So, but there's a push for it from the West. So I don't know how long our people will be able to resist money. You know how we behave when we see money. So I don't know how long we will be able to resist this, but I hope that we can stand firm. So when I brought up that thing with the cabinet earlier, is that if women that studied in the West, they might buy into this because they might so I don't want that in the Tinubu administration. So if you are pro LGBTQ we need to know. You must be pro.
What's the Z, by the way?
I don't even. It's confused. Still searching. I don't even know.
I know LGBTQ.
QI.
What's the I?
Inquisitive. That means you're very fluid. You can go from L to G to So yeah.
Is that not bisexual? Is that
no? Because you can be pedophile. You can love kids.
No! Don't say those words.
Sorry.
No, carry on. Yeah.
So By the way, one man. Let me just shock you because unknown to many people, in America there's no age limit for marriage, right? You can get married to a 10-year-old and it's legal in 20 states. And you can have sex and
but you cannot consummate it, though. I don't imagine.
No, actually, yes. I'm telling you, if you go to
but you have age of consent. Do you not have age of consent?
It's a very but my whole point is that there are all these great.
That's not true, Babati.
No, there's no age. No, go look it up. You can get married to. There's no. Okay, bro. Right now, Google it. There's no age of consent for marriage.
No.
If their father signs off for no, just look it up. I'm not.
I don't know about looking.
No, look it up now. I'm telling you.
Different states with their different law.
I said 20 states. No, I said 20 states. 20 states. If you go to Missouri now, you can marry a 12-year-old.
I don't know about Missouri.
Okay, but let me just stay on the African topic before.
In your state of Texas, at what age can you get married?
No, I'm in Boston. I'm in Massachusetts. I'm not in Texas.
Okay, Massachusetts. At what age?
No. Those. Okay, let me say the African. Let me go to American stuff. But anyways, they are trying to bring some of these weird practices.
No, I thought you were saying that in America you can marry at any age.
I'm saying age of consent.
Age of consent.
There's no limit to it. That's general broad. Now, each state will not define what
age of consent in the state where I live is 16 years. It's 16 years. So I don't know what you mean by that. There's no limit. I don't understand that. Anyway, continue what you.
Okay. Anyways,
sorry. Just one brief question on that. Is it a federal stance, or is it left to the states to determine age of consent?
They have all these laws. See, America is people always think that we have all this binding laws that bring us together. No, like one man, if you live in like a tribal land now, okay, if you live on tribal lands, even though they're in America, there are still laws that they have that is specific to their own people. So if I go walk, there was a time I was working in a hospital on a tribal land, right? They have, even if you have like rape cases, sometimes they will still call in their chief, and the chief will determine whether or not the police can even investigate that, even though it's a rape case. And that is their own thing on their own land. And it's still America. So you have all this, so people always asking that because it's America, they have all these federal laws that, no, states still have powers on some things. So tribal lands, if you're like a militia too, if you have lands as a militia, they have their own compound, they do what they want there. Like for like maybe Utah, for instance, now, if you have all this, the Mormons, they have all these religions laws or exceptions for them. So across the board, there's no uniformity for everything. There are some certain exceptions based on maybe your race, that would be Native Indians, or your religion, maybe a Mormon, or you practice that maybe in Utah, for instance. So there's some few exceptions to the law in the country. So it depends on where you live, like Yannick was talking about earlier. So it depends on the place where you are.